tonight on CTV3 News. Repeat offender driver Gustavo Cardenas detained after fatal traffic accident in Orange Walk. The victim, a 19-year-old motorcyclist. Daylight daring armed robbery at Royal Supplies in Orange Walk. Prime Minister John Briceño confirms continued energy collaboration with Mexico following meeting with new Mexican president. And a grandfather from the Corozal district is accused of touching his granddaughter inappropriately. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Monday, October 7th, 2024. Good evening with your news, also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7. I am Joanna Rodriguez. A 19-year-old resident of Orange Walk Town lost his life over the weekend following a road traffic accident on the Philip Golston Highway. The deadly incident played out on Sunday night shortly after 8 as 19-year-old Christian Baiza was driving motorcycle on the Philip Golston Highway heading towards Orange Walk Town. Upon nearing this curve at the entrance of San Roman Village, Christian was struck from behind by a green Ford Explorer being driven at the time by 53-year-old Gustavo Cardenas. The collision sent Christian's cycle across the highway into the opposite lane. Christian was found in the middle of the road lying face down in a pool of blood with his left leg broken, scrapes on both elbows, injuries to his face, a cut wound to his forehead, both ankles scraped, and a large bruise to his right rib cage. The 19-year-old died on the spot. He was later transferred to the Northern Regional Hospital where he was pronounced dead on arrival. Gustavo Cardenas was detained at the scene and thereafter escorted to the NRH to obtain a blood sample, which he refused to provide. His vehicle was also impounded as it was noted to have no license. At this time, he remains in custody pending charges in relation to Christian's death.
Okay, on Sunday the 60th of October 2024 around 8:20 p.m. police responded to a fatal road traffic accident on the Philip Golston Highway. Upon their arrival, they saw a motorcycle with damages and a Ford Explorer vehicle with damages as well. The driver of the Ford Explorer was identified as Gustavo Cardenas, and the person driving the motorcycle was identified as Christian Baiza. Christian Baiza was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead on arrival. Investigation was carried out and Gustavo Cardenas is in custody pending charges referencing this fatal road traffic accident.
So what's the circumstances, if you have any details on that?
The information is that the pickup hit the motorcycle from behind, causing the fatal injuries to Christian Baiza.
Speeding a factor, sir?
We are not sure that is all information.
Okay.
A post-mortem examination is expected on the body of 19-year-old Christian Baiza later this week to determine exact cause of death. It is of particular note that this is not the first time that Orange Walk resident Gustavo Cardenas is involved in a fatal traffic collision. In 2003, Cardenas, who was 32 at the time, was charged in connection with a fatal traffic accident which claimed the lives of 2 individuals, one of which was a well-known and respected police officer. During that time, Cardenas was charged with 2 counts of manslaughter by negligence, 2 counts of causing death by careless conduct, negligent wounding, failure to stop and render aid, failure to report an accident, driving without due care and attention, and refusing to provide a blood specimen to police. At the time of the accident, Cardenas was believed to be heavily under the influence of alcohol. However, he refused to give blood sample to authorities. The fatalities during that time included CIP officer Lincoln Kellyman and Wimal Kumar, a businessman from Corozal Town. Police in Orange Walk are investigating a daring daylight robbery which happened over the weekend here in Orange Walk Town. The incident unfolded at Royal Supplies located on San Andres Street shortly after 5 p.m. on Saturday. When police arrived at the scene, the cashier of the establishment told police that at around 5:07 p.m., a black Chevy Equinox with U.S. license plates pulled up outside the store. 3 masked men described as dark complexion and armed with 9mm pistols stormed into the establishment. The suspects immediately pointed their weapons at the cashier and salesman demanding money. Surveillance from inside the store shows as the 3 culprits, all wearing masks over their faces to shield their identities, storm into the establishment and immediately threaten those inside. They are then seen taking a navy blue Atlantic bag containing over $10,000 in cash, as well as $150 from the store's cash register. Additionally, the robbers also managed to get a hold of 3 cell phones. The entire incident played out in just a few minutes, after which the man fled the scene in the Equinox, which was waiting for them outside. At this time, no suspects have been apprehended and the investigation remains ongoing. Anyone with information that can lead to the apprehension of these individuals are asked to contact the nearest police station. There is a disturbing report coming out of the village of Chanchen in Corozal tonight. It has to do with an 8-year-old who, along with her mother, visited the domestic violence unit to report an incident that occurred while the child was visiting her grandmother's home in Chanchen. The mother disclosed that between September 29 and October 2, 2024, the child's grandfather had inappropriately touched her breast and vagina while she was resting in a hammock, leading to feelings of discomfort for the young girl. Police are investigating the report. Last week, Prime Minister John Briceño made an official visit to Mexico for the inauguration of the country's new president, Claudia Sheinbaum. During this visit, Prime Minister Briceño received assurances from President Sheinbaum that cooperation between the 2 nations will persist under her leadership. This includes ongoing discussions about enhancing the power purchase agreement between Mexico and Belize to ensure a more stable energy supply for Belize. These conversations build on earlier talks between the Prime Minister and the former President Andrés López Obrador in May regarding the potential increase of Mexico's power supply to Belize by 5 megawatts. Following his meeting with President Sheinbaum, Prime Minister Briceño expressed optimism that the agreement will be upheld and that Belize will benefit from a greater energy supply from its northern neighbor.
I feel fairly confident that things are going to work out based on what we had agreed with President AMLO. Actually, he said that once they kick in, they're building 2 new plants of about, I think it's about 1.2 gigawatts of electricity in the region. And he said we could bump you up to 80 megawatts if you want. And we said, well, I remember CEO Jan Mencil was like, whoa, we never had so much. Actually, we were only limited, I think, about 55, and we got to the 60 this time. I had a meeting with the new Secretary of Energy. Remember, the first name is Los.
Elena Gonzalez Escobar.
Exactamente.
Yes.
Thank you, you have it there. Just remember the light. And I met with her, it was her first day in the office that morning, along with the technical people from CFE. The new secretary or the new CEO had to go down to Acapulco because they had problems there, flooding, hurricane, to see what they need to be able to get electricity back to the people. Again, we spoke on the importance of keeping the lights on. I made a point that Belize, our economy, has been growing very fast. As you know, this first semester, we had about 10% GDP growth. And we've become victims of our own success because now we're using electricity that was projected for 2028 in 2024.
While in Mexico, Prime Minister Briceño also had a meeting with the new Energy Minister, Luz Elena Gonzalez Escobar. Their discussions focus on energy security and the enhancement of energy transmission infrastructure in Belize and southern Mexico.
So what we have been doing since earlier this year, I have organized now meetings with from my ministry with I usually have Chris and Narda, Ms. Garcia, to meet with the two groups so that they go after each other and start to address these issues. Remember from last year, which was almost 2 years ago, we signed off on a loan to do 60 megawatts of energy. The kickback has been, because it comes from the Saudi fund, we have to go through them, and right now we're in the bidding process of the actual building, and we hope that before the end of next year, we'll start with the first 20 megawatts of energy. Again, the challenge is, and I'll be very frank, that PL saw the problem that, hey, we are going to run out of electricity. So they have been putting a lot of efforts in looking at energy generation as opposed to their mandate is transmission and distribution. But now that we've come on board and we have come with a new vision and hands-on as to what needs to get done, we have said, listen, you concentrate on that. We're going to make sure we could work on getting energy, that we can start to produce more energy. And that's what we've been doing. Unfortunately, it's a long process. It's not like you go to the neighborhood shop and buy only solar light and it works. It requires a lot more. We are doing everything we possibly can to get this going. And we believe that we'll be able to meet the demands in this coming year, 2025, and certainly by 2026, new investments will already kick in that will be able to be self-sufficient with mostly renewable sources of energy.
In addition to discussions with Mexico and CFE, Prime Minister Briceño noted that the government is engaging with other partners to explore various alternatives aimed at achieving energy stability in Belize.
Right now we have to do today, which is this. We have a number of projects coming online with solar. We already have the 20 megawatt generator in San Pedro. Once we get that generator going, I think we'll be right there at the edge, avoiding the blackouts. But it's more expensive because it's diesel. It can also do natural gas, but we don't have the facilities of the natural gas there, and this is only a temporary fix to get us out of this crisis. I don't want to sound too alarmist, but the shortage of electricity. Once that is done, we're going to move it into another part of the country, because also we need to keep the electricity stable, and because when you have solar, it fluctuates, so you have to have a battery bank, which we're investing $100 million on that, funding through the World Bank, and also getting some funding from the MCC compact that we signed. Remember, 20% of the $125 million US, or the $250 million Belize, is going to be spent also on energy. And that's, apart from looking at the regulations and how we run, that is going to be a part of it. So we are working not only to be sustainable, but also we want to be able to export.
Within Belize, the Prime Minister indicated that talks are ongoing with various stakeholders, including BEL and the PUC, as part of their commitment to advancing renewable energy solutions.
We have been doing a number of things. We pretty soon BEL will be making bids for proposals. I think they've already done one. We'll be meeting and going through the RFP, the process, as to how you bid for electricity. On Wednesday, we have another meeting, which I would share along with BL and PUC and the Ministry of Energy. And we made the point to them that for a growing economy and for Belize, that we're really just making a name for ourselves. Never people didn't look at Belize. It is important to keep the lights on. There's a group in Belize right now that they've been talking to another company outside of Belize, that they have these ships that have these huge plants. So they're saying that they can contract this. They have already signed an agreement with this group, and they can bring the boat, but the boat produces 80 megawatts. We can't use it. A good thing about the agreement that we have with CFE, we can buy and we can sell. So our idea was to go to them and pitch the idea, listen, it will be far easier for Belize to bring the ship to Belize. We use what we need and then we send over the rest to you at a very small margin to pay for the expenses.
Coming up next, Colors of Conservation, a sip and paint event in Corozal. Stay tuned.
This plan, I can't leave this plan. Smart Belize!
Hey there, smart thinkers! We're turbocharging your mobile experience with Smart's powered up postpaid plans. Imagine a world where your data speeds flows faster than ever. Well, guess what? We've cranked up the dial and unleashed the postpaid power of Smart's lightning fast LTE data on all our postpaid plans. That's right, no speed bumps, more data. It's like having a limitless highway of data speed at your fingertips. Whether you're a lone ranger with an individual plan or a squad rolling with a group plan, everyone gets to surf, stream, and share at enhanced, full, high-quality speed. Switch to Smart's powered-up postpaid plans today and ride the wave of postpaid power. Visit any Smart showroom or smart-bz.com for details and make your mobile experience smarter and faster. Smart, bringing people together.
I know I can't leave this plan. I can't leave this plan.
In Corozal, police are investigating a home burglary that occurred while the owner, 42-year-old Renick Chavarria, a customs broker residing in the Chactamal estate, was in Mexico. Reports indicate the thieves walk away with a black knapsack containing his licensed Great Lake .223 camouflage rifle, complete with a scope, red dot sight, and flashlight. 2 magazines holding 45 rounds of 5.56 ammunition were also stolen. Additionally, Chavarria reported that a CZ brand 9mm pistol along with 2 magazines holding 18 rounds of 9mm ammunition were also taken. The total value of the stolen firearms is estimated at $13,300 Belize. Notably, the digital video recorder for the home surveillance system was also missing. The crime was reported by Chavarria upon his return from Mexico on October 5th. He told cops he had left his residence on October 1st and entrusted the keys to a maintenance worker. While no arrests have been made so far, we got an update on the investigation during the police briefing today.
Okay, on Friday, the 40th of October 2024, Renick Chavarria reported that his house was broken into in Corozal town. He left his house secured, and upon his return, his house was broken into and stolen 2 firearms, a 9mm pistol and a .223 rifle. We have no suspects at this time for this burglary.
What are police's concerns given that these two firearms are now out on the streets?
It is of concern to us because that is two more firearms on the streets.
Hurricane Milton rapidly intensified at a mind-boggling rate into a Category 5 over the record warm Gulf of Mexico. It is expected to grow in size, which means that although it may decrease in category, its dangerous impacts will be spread over a much larger area. Milton is forecasted to make landfall on Florida's Gulf Coast on Wednesday. Its dangerous eye wall could come ashore anywhere from Cedar Key at the north to Naples at the south, including possibly in the Tampa or Fort Myers area. Of note is that it's only been 10 days since Helen scourged Florida's golf course with storm surge and slapped into the Big Bend as a Category 4. Now, officials are asking residents still in recovery mode to evacuate or prepare for another life-threatening storm. The Consulate of Belize in Florida, Janine Sylvester, has issued an urgent advisory to Belizeans living in Florida. In its statement this morning, the Consulate of Belize in Florida warned of Milton's rapid intensification into a major hurricane. This same morning, Milton strengthened into a Category 5 hurricane. Regardless of where it makes landfall, the effects could be felt throughout the state of Florida. Belizeans in Florida are urged to prepare for the storm by assembling essential supplies, including first aid kits, medication, water, and important documents. The consulate has provided a 24/7 contact number for urgent consular services, 305-300-7520. Milton is expected to move just north of the Yucatan Peninsula on Monday and Tuesday before crossing the eastern Gulf of Mexico and approaching Florida's west coast by Wednesday or early Thursday. In the month of September, the Belize Police Department made 2 major drug busts here in the north, which led to the confiscation of several parcels of cocaine and the detention of several persons. Cops, though, suspect that the drug trade is huge here in the north and the parcels of cocaine they have managed to retrieve from the streets are but a pittance compared to what is actually on the move. With that in mind, the Commissioner of Police is asking the public to work with the police to minimize the illegal drug trade.
Our Northern Operation team has been doing well. They have been able to make 2 significant seizures. We have the 8 kilograms and we have the 28 kilograms of suspected cocaine. So that goes to show that they are doing as much as they can. We know that might just be pittance compared to what might be in the area. We have received information, yes, and we're acting on those information. And I just urge the public, if they know of anyone who have or are in possession of drugs, to let us know and we'll go in and do what needs to be done. Our strong presence along the irregular border crossing area continues with the police and the BDF and to some extent even customs, again to make sure that we do not have these drugs going over into the Mexican side so easily. We know that once it gets there, then it goes up north, and that's a problem to our counterparts in the U.S. So we continue to work along with them as well to see what we can do to be able to stem this issue.
The Belize Home Composting Pilot Project kicked off in Corozal over the weekend. Funded by Environment and Climate Change Canada, the 6-month pilot project seeks to teach participants how to remove organic waste from the trash, help the environment, and create nutrient-dense compost right in their own backyard. After signing up for the program, participants were required to attend a workshop to receive one of the 200 compost bins donated to Belize by Environment and Climate Change Canada. That workshop took place on Saturday, and now participants are ready to begin composting their organic waste and start enjoying the benefits of nutrient-rich compost, says local consultant for Recycle Organic, Tara Lee.
Basically went over the basic components of composting from every part from being sustainability of science and then responsibility for our food waste. And then just the process of how to layer it, the science of it, layering the bin, how long it will take to break down, expectations, like if it's too wet or too dry, what kind of bugs we're going to see, temperature, and how long it will take. We will be communicating via WhatsApp group, sharing pictures, asking questions, troubleshooting, and then we're going to have a monthly visit for each participant. And after like 2 or 3 visits, if they look like they're being used successfully, then we no longer will have to do a physical follow-up, but they can send us pictures. And then there's people that maybe they don't like to compost, and so we can actually take the bin and rehome it and restart the process.
As mentioned, the program is funded by the Environment and Climate Change Canada with the aim of growing consensus that we need to take action to address food loss and waste, since food that is produced but not eaten ends up in landfills and creates methane, a powerful greenhouse gas.
It's funded by the Canadian government because of their pledge for climate change and climate change initiatives. And so when Recycle Organics initially picked Belize, they got in touch with the Belize Solid Waste Management Authority, and from there, Kenny Williams, he had reached out to the town councils. He had suggested towns that we work in. He had reached out to town councils, and we had really started working with that collaboration and together and like created this whole project together. Corozal is doing something a little different than the other 3 towns, in that we are putting them in every school in Corozal. So this is really exciting for not just Corozal, but for the Recycle Organics people, because they've done this in multiple countries, and this is the first country, first town that we're actually going to put one in every single school. So we're not only going to be teaching the children, we're going to be teaching the staff, but the children, part of the program, have to teach their parents how to compost, and they have to teach their parents about removing organic food waste from the trash and all the benefits from it, and helping the environment and learning how to be sustainable and responsible for our waste.
In the vibrant coastal town of Corozal, a unique event was held on Saturday night as Oceana, the town council, and the House of Culture came together to host a sip and paint event. But this wasn't just any ordinary evening of art, relaxation, and wine tasting. It was a night dedicated to raising environmental awareness. Parents of all backgrounds gathered at the House of Culture with anticipation and paintbrushes in hand, all with one mindset: to inspire family creativity while finding out more about the importance of protecting their beautiful environment.
Objective here is to promote environmental awareness, and through this we're doing it through these tote bags. So what we're having here tonight is a class of painting while also sipping on some nice wine, and through there we're promoting the usage of these tote bags. You can take these to the grocery store. The whole recycle and reusing is what we're trying to promote here tonight. So it is a way of us for using our constructive time to not only indulge in something expressive in arts, which is what we tried to do here at the House of Culture, but to involve also the community in this. And as you can see, we have a good turnout. Like I said, we all are promoting everything that has to do reuse and recycle. So here at the House of Culture, we like to know that we can work with Oceana and Councillor Leslie, like I mentioned, whose portfolio has to do with environment. It's just to bring awareness more to the country, to the people, and now indulging the community in them actually coming to paint. We're having them use these tote bags now to use the waste of non-plastic.
At the end, the sip and paint night had not only colored the canvases of participants, it had painted a vision for a greener future, one brush stroke at a time. And there is more news after the break. Stay tuned.
This plan, I can't leave this plan. Smart Belize.
Hey there, smart thinkers. We're turbocharging your mobile experience with Smart's powered up postpaid plans. Imagine a world where your data speed flows faster than ever. Well, guess what? We've cranked up the dial and unleashed the postpaid power of Smart's lightning-fast LTE data on all our postpaid plans. That's right, no speed bumps, more data. It's like having a limitless highway of data speed at your fingertips. Whether you're a lone ranger with an individual plan or a squad rolling with a group plan, everyone gets to surf, stream, and share at enhanced, full, high-quality speed. Switch to Smart's powered-up postpaid plans today and ride the wave of postpaid power. Visit any Smart showroom or smart-bz.com for details and make your mobile experience smarter and faster. Smart, bringing people together.
I know I can't let this plan. I can't let this plan.
Assistant Secretary of State for Western Hemisphere Affairs Brian A. Nichols is visiting Belize from October 5th to the 8th, 2024, where he will meet with Prime Minister John Briceño, Foreign Minister Francis Fonseca, and other senior officials. The discussions will focus on security and inclusive economic prosperity, with an emphasis on Belize's role in the Partnership for Atlantic Cooperation and the Millennium Change Corporation's Belize Compact for Education and Energy Projects. During his visits, Nichols will engage with civil society, political, and business leaders, reinforcing the United States' commitment to collaboration on regional priorities. Belize's active participation in fostering security and economic development across the Western Hemisphere will be key topics of discussion. Members of the Firearms and Ammunition Control Board, FACB, recently participated in an insightful study visit to the Jamaica Licensing Authority, marking a key step in furthering Belize's efforts towards enhancing firearms licensing and regulatory procedures. The delegation, composed of members of the FACB, visited Jamaica Licensing Authority to learn about best practices and strategies related to firearms control, public safety, and regulatory compliance. This initiative aligns with the FACB's ongoing commitment to strengthen Belize's firearm regulatory system and ensure effective enforcement of regulations. Chief Executive Officer of the Ministry of Home Affairs and New Growth Industries and Chair of the FACB, Cheryl Carr Saldivar, expressed her confidence in the impact of the study visit. As part of the visit, the FACB team was given a comprehensive tour of Jamaica's licensing authority's operational facilities and participated in workshops on various aspects of firearms control, including data management, licensing protocols, and measures to combat the illegal firearm trade. The FACB remains committed to adhering to international commitments and agreements on firearms control, ensuring compliance with the standards of the Caribbean Firearms Roadmap and international obligations. The FACB looks forward to applying the lessons learned from Jamaica's experience to enhance its systems and procedures, ensuring that Belize remains vigilant in its firearms management efforts. And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Tuesday, October 8th, here on CTV3 News and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/ctv3belizenews or our YouTube channel at CTV3 News BZ. From all of us here at CTV3 News, thank you for watching and listening. Good night.